It happened in less than 10 minutes. One signature, one decision, one moment that felt harmless at the time, and it destroyed the next 10 years of his life. When Michael was 32, he believed he was finally winning. He had a decent job in sales, a small apartment downtown, reliable friends, and just enough money to feel optimistic about the future. He wasn't rich, but compared to how he grew up, his life already felt successful. His father worked construction until his body gave out. His mother cleaned offices at night. Money was always tight. So Michael became obsessed with escaping that struggle. He promised himself he would never live paycheck to paycheck as his parents did. He wanted security, respect, freedom. And by his early 30s, it finally seemed possible. It started with a dinner. One of Michael's old friends arrived driving a black luxury car that looked expensive enough to intimidate traffic itself. The watch, the clothes, the confidence, everything about him screamed success. Naturally, Michael asked questions. His friend smiled. "Real estate," he said. That single word planted a dangerous seed. Over the next 2 hours, Michael listened carefully while his friend explained how property prices were exploding, how smart people were getting rich through investing, and how waiting too long meant missing the opportunity forever. "Renting is dead money," his friend kept repeating. By the end of the night, Michael felt something powerful. Fear. Not fear of losing money, fear of being left behind. That emotion ruins people financially every single day. For weeks afterward, Michael became obsessed. He watched videos about financial freedom, read stories about ordinary people becoming millionaires through property investing, scrolled endlessly through social media posts showing young investors posing beside luxury apartments with captions about passive income and escaping the rat race. Michael could not truly afford investment property, not responsibly. He had savings, but not enough. His salary was decent, but unstable. His emergency fund was weak. Deep down, he knew all this. So when a mortgage broker told him he qualified for a massive loan, Michael interpreted approval as wisdom. That was mistake number one. Just because someone allows you to borrow money does not mean you should. The apartment looked perfect. Modern building, growing neighborhood. Guaranteed appreciation, according to the agent. Michael imagined everything already. The rising property value, the rental income. The future version of himself is finally wealthy and respected. Everyone around him sounded confident. The broker sounded confident. The agent sounded confident. His friend sounded confident. Owning property made him feel important, mature, intelligent. He proudly told people he was now an investor. For several months, life even appeared to reward his decision. Property prices continued climbing. Friends congratulated him constantly. Social media validated every risky move he made. Michael started believing he had figured life out financially. That belief became mistake number 2. Success during good times often disguises dangerous decisions. Then reality changed. Interest rates increased unexpectedly. Monthly mortgage payments exploded almost overnight. At the same time, his tenant stopped paying rent consistently. Expenses multiplied faster than income. Suddenly, the property no longer generated money. It consumed money. Michael used his savings first, then credit cards, then personal loans. He kept telling himself things would improve soon because admitting failure felt unbearable. Pride delays necessary action. Stress transformed him slowly. He stopped sleeping properly, started snapping at friends, avoided checking bank balances. Every unknown phone call triggered anxiety because collectors had started contacting him regularly. Still, he maintained appearances publicly. That is another dangerous financial behavior people rarely discuss. Michael continued posting smiling photos online while drowning financially in real life. 6 months later, things became catastrophic. The housing market slowed sharply. Property values dropped. Suddenly, the apartment was worth less than the debt attached to it. Michael tried selling immediately, but buyers disappeared. Nobody wanted overpriced investment properties anymore. He was trapped. The mortgage remained. The debt remained. The stress remained. But the illusion of wealth vanished completely. Then came the moment that truly broke him. One Tuesday afternoon, Michael got called into a meeting at work. Sales numbers had declined company-wide. Layoffs were happening. his position was eliminated effective immediately. Just like that, his primary income disappeared. Losing the job alone would have been survivable. But debt magnifies every crisis. Without income, the mortgage became impossible almost immediately. Loan payments are stacked endlessly. He spent entire nights awake, staring at ceilings, calculating impossible numbers repeatedly. No solution appeared, only consequences. But strangely, losing the property itself was not the worst part. The worst part was psychological. Michael no longer trusted himself. One bad financial decision had infected every area of his life. Confidence disappeared. Relationships suffered. Mental health collapsed. He started believing he was fundamentally broken instead of simply financially reckless. That mindset nearly destroyed him permanently. Almost nobody talks honestly about financial shame, but shame changes people, especially men. Michael felt like a failure constantly because society often ties masculinity directly to financial success. Losing money felt like losing identity itself. Years later, Michael would admit something important. The psychology behind the decision did. Fear of missing out, need for status, desire to look successful quickly. Those emotional patterns caused far more damage than the apartment ever did, because financial disasters rarely happen logically. They happen emotionally. Slowly, painfully, Michael rebuilt. Not quickly, not dramatically. There was no inspiring overnight comeback. He moved into a smaller apartment, took temporary work, negotiated debt payments, learned budgeting for the first time seriously. Because before the collapse, Michael viewed money emotionally. He wanted freedom immediately, respect immediately, success immediately. But real wealth rarely works that way. Real wealth grows slowly, quietly, boringly. And people chasing fast success often become the easiest to destroy financially. One evening, years after losing everything, Michael sat with a younger coworker who excitedly explained a risky cryptocurrency investment guaranteed to change his life. The younger man spoke exactly as Michael once spoke. Same excitement, same urgency, same confidence. Michael listened carefully before saying something simple. The fastest way to destroy your future is trying to get rich too fast. The younger coworker laughed awkwardly. Michael did not, because he understood something now that many people learn too late. One financial decision can absolutely ruin your life if it is built on ego instead of wisdom. The scary part is how ordinary these stories really are. Most financial disasters do not begin with stupidity, they begin with optimism. Good people make terrible financial decisions every day because emotions cloud judgment. Michael eventually recovered financially enough to survive comfortably again. The illusion that appearing successful mattered more than being stable. The illusion that debt fueled freedom. The illusion that risk automatically meant intelligence. Now he lived differently. Smaller lifestyle, lower stress, more caution, less ego. And strangely enough, he finally felt wealthier emotionally than he ever did while pretending to be successful before. One emotional decision, one ignored warning, one rationalization repeated too many times. That is why financial wisdom matters more than financial ambition. Because ambition without discipline destroys people, every single day. If this story made you think differently about money and risk, like the video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories about psychology, finance, and the realities nobody talks about.